Yo, what up, everyone? Welcome back to Surface Series. This is a show where I get to show you what goes on into making sports happen. Now, I'm your host, Jordan O'Shea. This is j.sprays, and today, in honor of the Little League World Series, one of the best times of the year in sports, we're going to be going over to a Little League field and improving their infield. Now, if you're familiar with youth sports, you probably know that they don't always have great fields to play on. More often than not, they're pretty bad. And it's not like it's anybody's fault. It's a lot of work to take care of a field and to keep it nice all the time. There are a lot of kids that play. So we want kids to play. But what I'm here to try to do is give these kids a better experience in the way I can by improving the infield, right? I remember growing up playing baseball. You played on a lot of bad fields, and it happens. It's just part of it. But I'm glad that we were able to do our part to help improve this field. And the people over at Wiseburn Little League were amazing. So, yeah, we went over to Wiseburn Little League in Hawthorne, California, over at the Da Vinci Connect Fields, and it was beautiful. I loved being able to work on this field, like I said, because it wasn't in great shape. There's some problems that people just don't have the time to take care of. I mean, a lot of the people, especially in Little League, are volunteers that work for the league, that work on the fields, whatever, or it's a city that helps take care of it, whatever the case may be. It's different all over. But I was just glad to be able to go out there and do my part. And I had my amazing fiance with me who came to bring me food and show a little support. And she saw the way, like, the field looked and stuff, especially, like, all the debris and leaves and everything outside of the infield that we were working on. So what did she do? She picked up a rake and started cleaning it up, and it was absolutely amazing. I did not expect her to do that. She did not have to do that because it wasn't her job, and I'm so glad she did that. But she was heartbroken at seeing, like, how the field was. And like I said, it's not really a certain person's fault at all. Like, all the people that I talked to and that I worked with were absolutely amazing. It's just, it takes a lot of time and effort and very professional work to keep a field looking nice and to make a field look nice. So there's a lot of work that goes into it. And like I said, a lot of people that work in youth sports are volunteers, parents, whatever the case may be. Not everybody has time. I mean, I'm busy. I don't always have time to just go help out somewhere, even if I want to. And that's one of my goals coming up, is to give more to the community. But I was glad to be able to do it in this way. So we went over there, and what we're doing in this video is similar to the last week's video where we were at the LA Chargers practice facility, and we were pretty much doing our whole field renovations. We did that at a professional level, and this is professional too, but with a professional sports budget and all the equipment that we could possibly need. And now this week I'm going to be showing you how we do it at, like, how you could do it at your house, how you could do it at your local field. It's very inexpensive to be able to do this type of stuff. You just need some equipment. You don't need to spend thousands of dollars. Whatever you got to do, I'll show you how to do it right now. And there's many ways to do it with no matter how much experience you have. So if you're curious about how to fix up your grass, if you're curious how to improve your field at home, whatever it is, this is the video for you. So I'm excited to get to show you the entire process, and this was all done in one day. It could take longer, and it may not have needed to take as long as I did, but it was an entire day's work. So it was worth it. It was fulfilling once it was done. It was a lot of work while we were doing it, and that's okay because I expected it. But it was me, and my fiance was there. Like I said, she didn't have to come and do it. But she started working on the outside. She even picked up the mower and started helping out with that too. So she was absolutely amazing. I'm going to show you right now. So let's just get to it. Let's do it. So here is the field when we first got there. This is what it looked like. And obviously you can see it's not in good shape. I mean, it's, like I said, not really just a certain person's fault. It's just a lot to maintain, and not everybody knows how to do it, really. A lot of leaves everywhere, and the trees right next to the field shed like crazy, so it just looks dirty. I mean, this is what these kids have to go play on. It's not the worst thing in the world. I've seen worse, but you can see we've already started. And right now, the first thing that we're doing is just mowing. So not going crazy with it, but I'm going to speed this up so you guys aren't just watching me walk very slow the whole time, because this was a long process. The very first mow, I was more so just trying to clean the leaves off. I didn't have a blower this time. So like I said, I'm going to be showing you how you could do this with an at-home budget, because that's what I had to work with, an at-home budget. Just get this mower off of Amazon, whatever. Go to Home Depot, Lowe's, whatever it may be. I don't know. Nobody sponsored this video, so I'm not loyal to anybody. But yeah, first mow, just trying to get all the leaves off, cutting some grass for sure. But what we're trying to do is we're going to be going multiple directions, starting off with the mower. And we have a couple different machines that we're using for this. But like I said, cleaning the field up first and foremost, going all in one direction. And once it gets cleaned up, then we're going to go on to the next thing. But right now, this, like I said, it's a long process. And it didn't really want to cut very well in certain areas, especially like the more bushy parts. And if you're curious as to why some spots look the way they do, like the darker green spots, they get a lot more water. And then the other spots, they really just don't. It's a product of not much water and other factors as well. I mean, some of the spots, especially in front of second and shortstop, players are probably walking on it more. They're probably kicking their cleats into it. It gets a lot more traffic. Traffic kills grass, and that's okay, because that's what it's meant for. It's meant for people to walk and play on it. But yeah, you see, emptying, and let me get this straight. I didn't just have to empty this basket one time, but it would be pretty boring for me to show you all the times I had to empty this basket. And you'll see the amount of bags I have later on. But I realized pretty quickly that this one trash can was not even close to enough. So I had plenty more trash bags on me. But you see my beautiful fiance came over here, grabbed a rake, and started cleaning up. She really did not have to do that, but I got to say, it's pretty satisfying to be able to just see these leaves get raked up. But now, walking the opposite direction. So we went one way. Now I'm just going the opposite way. And what I did with the mower this time is I dropped the height. And if you're not familiar with what dropping the height is, you can change the height that you cut the grass at. So I started off with whatever the mower was set to. And then you flip it over, which I didn't show you. Sorry. If you're curious, I could show you in a later video. Just let me know in the comments. But I flipped the mower over, lowered the height of the cut to pretty much as low as it can go, so we can get the grass as short as we possibly can, because what's next after this is verticutting, and I'll show you that process once we get there. But the purpose is pretty similar to what we did last week's episode at the Chargers, is that we're trying to scalp the grass. So scalping, you see like the spots where it's really green. You see I'm having trouble there because it's bushy. I dropped the height a lot. We're pretty much just cutting it as short as we can, and the grass is just going to keep like getting shorter and shorter and shorter because we're cutting the grass shorter. Like I said, sorry, but you could see the change in color, and it's getting real tough to push because it's so thick and bushy in certain spots, and those spots are they're pretty tall. They're thick, like I said. So we're just getting this mower through, and it's doing a really good job at cutting as much as we need to. Still some leaves up on there. And you see what it looks like before and after. That's always one of the most satisfying things for me to watch, is the mower cutting like grass that's pretty tall and then scalping it down. It is very satisfying for me. So you see how certain spots are just getting cut more. It's just because they're taller, but we're going through everything, make sure everything gets cut in two directions before we start our verticut. And one way that this benefits the grass is that there's just less grass for, I guess, we want the nutrients and everything that's going to be helping the sun, all that, everything that's going to be helping the grass grow and get stronger. We're just trying to give everything less competition in a way. So if you cut it shorter and shorter and shorter, it's going to be easier for us to go beneath the surface and pull everything out from under and then push it up on top. That way we can clean it off. So right now we're just cutting it shorter and shorter and shorter. And like I said, doing this 2 directions. We'll even come back later on and do it. But this is, like I said, it's a long process, but it's a very satisfying one because I love watching these mow patterns. And it's something that I could see a million different times and just be stuck watching it every single time. So whether you want to listen to this with my voice on or off, just watch this because it's nice. But I love seeing like the different ways that the grass looks depending on which direction you're mowing it at and which direction you're looking at, especially once you start to get shorter, because it looks better once you get it shorter, especially on sports turf. But you see like these parts that don't really have much grass, maybe not necessary to go through them, but I'd like to just go through everything so everything gets cut, because even if it's pulling a little bit out, it's a big help because we need as little competition to get beneath that surface as possible. So I'm going around the mound a couple times because I may have missed some spots on the edges, especially when I was going through that mound, just because, I had to turn and I didn't want to get anything. Yeah. No, there's just some spots that I might have missed, so I'm going through it again. And I'm just making 2 laps around the mound, 1 each direction, and then we'll get on to the verticut after this. And like I said, it's a process, but we didn't really have too many different steps. It's just each step takes a while. Now we're just getting the perimeter, make sure everything gets cut, especially the spots that we might have just missed at the end, which nothing really should be missed, especially since we went in 2 different directions. But I like the way that it looks. It just cleans it up because you don't always get a clean cut on the edges because you're starting and stopping there, and sometimes it just doesn't get as much as the middle of the field. So I like going around and doing a perimeter lap, pretty much is what this is. And pretty much done with it. Once we get past this little frame, then we're going to get on to the next part, which is emptying the basket again. Like I said, I had to do this so many times, especially on the verticut. Right now, it's not terrible. Only had to do it a couple times with the mow, but now we're on the verticut part of it. And this is the part that really took a long time, because what we're doing now is we're going beneath the surface and pulling as much stuff up on top of the surface as we can. And it looks different right now than it did in the video last week over at the Chargers, because I have a basket on the mower this time. So it's catching all the stuff that it's picking up. But you see the lines in the grass? That's because of the reels, the shape of the reels. It's going vertically, which is why it's verticut. It's going vertically, like down beneath the surface to try to pull stuff up on top of it, like I said. So that's why you might see striping a little differently on this as compared to the regular mower, because the regular mower that we were using, it's more of a propeller, like a fan. So you're just getting the mow stripes. Right now you're getting the Verticut stripes, which it's layer by layer by layer. And like I said, we're pulling everything up to pretty much just clean it out, because over time, stuff gets down beneath the surface, and that could possibly be part of the reason that the grass is having trouble growing. And so just doing that alone isn't necessarily the answer, but it's a huge help. Like, this whole process wouldn't be nearly as effective without doing the verticut. I suggest verticutting, maybe not as many times as you possibly can. Like, you don't need to go overboard with it, but doing it every few months would be amazing for your lawn, for your field, whatever it may be. And like I said, you can get one of these machines off Amazon or your local hardware store, whatever it may be, for not that expensive. Obviously, you're not going to be spending what a professional team is going to be spending on their equipment. And I mean, some of this stuff is like equipment you could even use at a professional facility, just depending on what you're using it for. But like this, in infield, this stuff is great for it. And it's even better for your front lawn. Like, if you just had this over at your house in your front lawn, any mower, pretty much, it's good. And then get Verticut reels. These types of mowers, like I said, these machines, they have multiple purposes. So yeah, I suggest it. I suggest if you want your lawn to look nice, do a Verticut every now and then. If you want your Little League field to look nice, whatever it may be, high school, anything, do a Verticut. Or call me, I'll come do it. We'll see. But you see us mowing again afterwards. This is the third mow with the regular mower. So we're doing it back in the original direction that we did, the same direction that we're doing the Verticut right now, just because we're trying to just clean out as much of it as we can. The grass will grow back, and we know this, but we're pretty much just scalping it again. So part of the stuff that the Verticut reels do, which is what you see me doing further away, is that it stands some of this grass up. So it brings everything up. That's the purpose. Just bring everything up. Verticut. That's what it is. Bring everything up. And once we do that, we can grab the mower again and chop it down again, because we're trying to trim this stuff down as much as we possibly can. And these mowers, they only go so low. We can't go as low as I really wanted to, but it's still effective. It's pretty effective. And I wish Ryobi, I didn't even talk to them, but I wish Ryobi was sponsoring this, because I'm showing their name all over this video. But like I said, this is this was a process, and it's a fun one if you're into this. So this is not our final step, but we're getting closer to it. I don't remember how long, like how many hours into the process this was, but it was a few hours probably, because at this point we've mowed the first direction, mowed the opposite direction. So that's 2 mows. Now we're verticutting and then mowing again in the original direction. And we will mow at least one other time, and we're going to verticut a second time as well in the other direction, which I may not show just because it's a long process. But like I said, we're starting to build our collection of bags of thatch over on the other side. And I think it was like close to 10, maybe 12 bags, something like that. It was a lot. That's one thing about verticutting, is that you're pulling up a lot of stuff, a lot of dead grass, a lot of thatch, and a lot of material that you just don't want in there. That's the whole purpose of it. And in those spots right there that it's pretty bad, that the grass just does not look good, like it might be dead or dying, it's not. But that's what the verticuttings do. It's trying to break up as much as we can into those spots, right? And you see it's very dusty. It's just covered in dust. And I was filthy after this day, but it is worth it, because the finished product of this field, I think it was 3 weeks later, is what I'm going to be showing you. It's a whole new infield, and I wish we did everything surrounding it too, because it just doesn't even match. I mean, right now, like I said, some of the problem is irrigation, but like we just needed to give it this reset that we're giving it. And now you see me mowing a 4th time, and we're going diagonally this time. So we're going a 3rd different direction, which I suggest going as many possible directions as you want to, because I really don't think you can scalp too much unless you finally do it and you're not picking anything up. But every single time I was filling up trash bag after trash bag just from going each direction. Like, this probably doesn't get mowed too often, because, I mean, look, you see a lot of it just looks dead, and it's not dead. It just needed some love and care. And like I said, you don't always have enough people or time to come out and do it. That's why you call out the professionals. That's why you call out me or somebody else you may know that can come do this for you, because I love seeing grass as much or more than the next person over just thrive. And so that's what we're doing. That's literally my job, is to make grass thrive. So, like I said, I was glad to do it. And this obviously is not where the Little League World Series is played, but if you've seen that Little League World Series field, or those fields, my God, they're gorgeous. So all the people that are involved in that, applause to you. And even all the regional fields, from what I've seen so far, or like the rounds leading up to the World Series, everybody's done a great job. So it takes a lot. It really takes a lot of work to go into youth sports or any sports really and make the playing surfaces nice. And like I said, we're working on baseball right now, but I have a passion for all sports. Grass sports the most for sure, because that's what I'm around. That's what I've grown up doing. And that's what I've spent pretty much my entire life standing on in one way or another, whether I'm fixing it up, playing on it, or coaching, whatever it may be. I've done all aspects of sports. But right now, like I said, we're working on this field, making it come out nice and beautiful, going as many directions as we possibly can. And I don't work on too many baseball fields at the moment, but I have worked on a ton in my life. Just growing up playing baseball, you have to work on your own fields. It's just how it is. We were working on our fields all throughout college. My entire playing career, we had to work on our own field. And so pretty much I was doing my career at an early age. So that's partly why I like doing it so much, is because I've seen so many different types of fields, and I've seen the nice ones, I've seen the real bad ones, and I've got to experience everything. So it's really nice to be able to work on this infield and to be able to have such a wonderful person by my side helping me do it. It's a plus. Like, I don't have employees. I don't have anybody that regularly helps me. And I hope to get to that point soon. But right now, I'm just not there yet. I have a full-time job, and it's not something that I can fully support somebody else being a full-time employee of my business yet. So eventually we'll get there. We will. But right now, I have more than enough support from my fiance, and it's absolutely amazing. This was a game changer because the amount of work she did shaved off so much time that I would have spent doing the same stuff that she was doing. And she did a great job at it, and it helped me tremendously. So it helped the field tremendously. Like I said, we like to go multiple directions as much as we can do and just try to get as much as we possibly could off of this field, because we're trying to clean it up so it could go back to fresh and normal. And we're almost done with this process. Like I said, it's just a lot of mowing. I mean, you're just watching me do the same thing over and over and over. So if you're still watching, thank you. That means you like being with me. That means you like seeing these fields look nice, and the mow patterns are always nice. If you look closely, you could see all three directions that we've gone into. If you look over at third base, you can see the lines that way. If it's kind of hard if you look over at first base from that angle, but then, yeah. So let's do a little recap. Mowed 2 directions, verticut 2 directions, which I showed you one, and then mowed again in the same direction, pretty much just cleaning up the verticut, and then mowed one more time in another direction. So that's 4 mows, 2 verticuts, and now we're watering the grass. Because, like I said, one thing, this field is having irrigation problems, and irrigation's a whole other beast, which, yes, I know how to do, but I did not really know the severity of the irrigation going into it, and so later on we figured that out. But right now, hand watering as much as I possibly need to. And my God, like I said, I got filthy in this one. So that's why I'm showering my legs at the moment. But I tried to soak this grass as much as possible. And especially, you could see the spots that really need water when you're watering, because you could, like if you look at the like yellowish part over at the left where I'm going to get to, the more water you see me put on it, the greener it's going to start getting. So pay attention to that. It's beautiful. Once you see that, especially in a water deprived space, if you see it start to get greener, pound it with more water after that, and then a little more, and then leave it alone, and maybe later come back to it if you need to. But right now you see me get in that spot and see it start to get a little more happy. It's just very dry and very thirsty. So it wants water desperately. It needs it. And the part that it's lacking with the irrigation is that it's some of it was just not covering everything. So like a lot of the spots that you saw that weren't looking very good were just not being hit by the water as well as the other spots, and that's why some of the spots look like they're flourishing. So water is a huge component of grass. Obviously, if you didn't know that, there it is. But most people did, and it's something that if it's lacking, just give it more of. And certain types of grass, there is a limit. Don't overwater because that can cause other issues such as disease and um, other things, especially if people are going to be on it and stuff. Like right now, after this, the field has a break. That's one important thing. The field gets a break for a few weeks or maybe even a little longer than that. So that also helps tremendously. Like it's been on, people have been using it nonstop, like back to back to back to back for months and months and months, most of the year. That's how a lot of youth sports are, youth fields. So it's very important to give it that break if you can, if you're able to. And yeah. So here's what it looked like before. Some different angles. This is what you guys have been seeing. This is the day that I went there to go work on this field. And like a lot of troubled spots. Absolutely a lot of troubled spots. Leaves everywhere and just disease and stuff that it just needed care. But here's the after. 3 weeks later. There we go. I'm proud of this. I love this. This is beautiful. It's nice and bushy and green, and we need that aftercare to keep going. Because grass is not just a one-time thing. You got to keep taking care of it over and over and over, and that's what these people are doing. And like I said, 3 weeks later, it came out looking beautiful. And honestly, I'm very proud of the way that this turned out because of the work that my fiance and I were able to put into it is beautiful. So, Hawthorne, Wiseburn Little League, thanks for having me over there. Thank you to everybody that was over there. Very supportive and helpful, extremely helpful. And I love building these new relationships and talking to just people in all aspects of sports at any level. So thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you have not already. And I look forward to seeing you next week because we have another special one, and I'm excited for that. So I'll catch you later.